Welcome to the Legacy Speaker Show. I am your host, Jasmine Haley, and today's guest is Latrice Clairborne. Now, Latrice has come to the rescue for my business for a launch. She has helped train one of my contractors that worked in my business. I have learned so much from her with setting up systems so that we don't have to deal with burnout from running the day-to-day of our business. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the owner and founder of Trinity Business Solutions. She's a tech tools fanatic, y'all, okay? And especially with the ones that she loves, I know she can do a whole dissertation on just the tools that can help alleviate your business. But not only does she help with the tech tools, but she helps other entrepreneurs scale their business. She's done that for herself with a multi-six-figure business while also raising her 3 children and being with her loving husband for numerous amount of years. So we welcome you to the show, and we can't wait to learn from you during our conversation today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So I first want to kind of dive into why you do the work that you do. I think it's so important for people to understand what makes their heart sing and why they've kind of led into the work that they help others accomplish. So why does Trinity Business Solutions exist, and what made you specialize specifically in the tech and the SOPs and whatever other acronym we can add in there?
So I'll say, in just me naturally in my character, my whole entire life, I've always been an efficiency driven person. Like, if it was something that needed to be organized, I was going to organize it. It didn't matter what it was, if it was toys or my mom she was a teacher. So there was like that stint where teachers went back to school in the summertime. She would go back to school and we would be home alone, and she would just leave us a list of chores. And I was like, so you just going to be real out of order and just leave a list, like just write a whole bunch of stuff down? That's terrible. What are we supposed to do with this list? So I used to always take the list, scrap it, organize the list in order of what rooms were closest to each other, who could do what, and split it up between myself and my siblings. And I would take the list, split it, and rip up little sheets of paper, assign it to everyone. And it was an efficient way of making sure the house got clean and we did what we were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And it just, in every area of my life, it's been kind of a thing. Even with my personal life, I organize people's stuff. I'm like, let me help you. Yesterday, my husband was having a meeting with somebody and he had this Google Doc. And I was like, do you mind if and he was like, yeah, go ahead. I was like, it's a little, I just gotta fix the things and put a system in place. We need to have this chunk here. We talk about this next. I flipped the whole agenda and organized everything that he had dumped on a page, because that's just how I am. I'm like, it's a little out of order. Let's fix it. Yeah. So initially, that is just how I was as a person, always have been. But I started working for an accounting firm, and I was doing marketing and business development and helping in the operations side of that business. And as I was helping in the operations side, I started to, for me, it was like, okay, I knew I wasn't going to be there long, but God had me there for a reason. So he started to give me things that I use now in my business that I learned then, that I never knew why I was learning those things. I was like, this doesn't even fit the role and the position that I have. Why am I learning this? And now fast forward, I realized why he had me learn those things. So one of the first tools that I learned was Infusionsoft, which is now called Keep. Infusionsoft was a tool back then that agency was using, and they had just got it. I just got there. They didn't know how to use it. And they were like, hey, we just got this tool and you need to learn it and then teach it to us. So I was like, is that really my job? But okay, sure. And I started to really go down the hole of getting into software and marketing automation. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it opened my eyes to so many different things that were possible with automation and with tech and with software, and so many things that Infusionsoft was doing back then that nobody else was doing, that other software companies were not offering. So I just kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I've always just loved computer and software tools and learning things and things that organize things and help you to be more efficient. So fast forward to where I am now. I'm almost at 6 years in business, and I became Infusionsoft certified, as well as certified in a lot of other things, because I want to make sure that I am well equipped to serve my clients. And it's very important to me to help business owners to understand that if you don't have systems, you don't have a business. If I can come today And I could, or if something were to happen today, if life were to come and be like, all right, sis, let's go, and tap you out for a second and take you down the lane where tragedy and different things are happening, and those things happen, where
Right.
life happens, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, what about my business? If your business can't sustain itself and can't still run, you don't really have a business,
Yes.
because in an instant it can be taken from you. And
Yes.
so helping business owners to understand that systems are the foundation for how your business should be ran. You need to have processes in place and proper documentation, and you also need to be leveraging technology. And so that's what we do in my business, is we help business owners streamline how they work and how they earn. So they're working more efficiently and they're earning more, but they don't have to increase the amount of time that they're working in order for them to make the money that they want to make.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love all of that. I think what's really important for listeners to understand, like when I first started my business, I was solely focused on just the speaking and events, right?
Mhm.
I was a solopreneur. I was bootstrapping. I didn't have a whole bunch of capital, but I did have time. And what I found was, as my business started to grow, I felt like I was always almost putting out fires, right? Not really being proactive. And what most speakers, I personally feel, don't understand, they get called in from hearing, oh, you can get $15,000 for a speaking gig, right?
Mhm.
Or 10, they get so excited about that, right? And they get excited about sharing their message and their story. All of those things we help them with. But what they don't understand is the concept of curating a foundation for an actual business to run and bring in reoccurring income. And one of those critical parts is the systems that you have in place. And when we are thinking about the level of impact we want to make, the legacy that we want to leave behind, a part of that is what we're doing today to actually set up a strong business foundation.
Yep.
So I want to kind of I like to demystify first so that people understand that this isn't something that's for them. Like, I'm not there. No, it's for everybody, no matter what stage you are in your business. So what would you say are like some myths that may get in the way from people thinking that this can be put off to the side and be done later?
So I personally think that systems are best implemented when they're not needed.
Mm,
You're not making well, for most people, they're just kind of like, it's not a big deal.
mhm,
It's just me. I don't have anything big. It's not a huge operation. I know where everything is. It's me by myself, all of that. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, you are saying with your mouth all of these things that you want. You're putting these goals up. We come January or December-ish, we doing vision board parties and
mhm.
we're doing all this stuff,
That's so true.
but we actually don't really want these things to come to fruition, because if we wanted them to come to fruition, we would do the things necessary to prepare to receive whatever it is that we are putting on these poster boards and we're saying is going to happen. And so if this were to happen like tomorrow, would you be prepared? The truth is, most of us would not. We would not be prepared if we were to get all the things that we're hoping and praying for. And we're like, I'm working so hard to get all this done. And so the time to put in the systems is right now, so that when things, life happens, and it always does. It never fails. It's consistent. So when life happens, or not just life, you want to take a vacation. You like, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm tired. I'm going to tap out. I think I'm going to take a couple weeks off and we're going to go somewhere and look at some blue water. And that's fine. But when those times happen, you have to have done the groundwork and have built the foundation so that your business can run efficiently. If you're doing something in the midst of an emergency, you're literally just doing the bare minimum, whatever you can to survive. And you're just pulling things out the air and just throwing something together. But when you have the time to sit and be thorough and be in depth, and to sit there and look at the granular, small, teeny tiny details, it makes your process and your systems so much more it makes them better documented if
Yeah.
you're able to take the time and be really, really diligent with your systems. And
Yeah.
so that's one of the big things people always think is like, I don't need it for now. I could just wait. And then they wait too late. And then after that, it costs them. It costs them a lot. They're having to go and find somebody to do something quickly. You
Yeah.
want something done quickly, you pay for the convenience. And it's also costing them a lot of their time. It's
Yeah.
costing them a lot of time, a lot of headache, their health, their peace of mind. It's costing you a lot to actually procrastinate on these things. And one thing that people don't realize is, well, I'll dive into this real quick, is there's a difference between, people call everything systems. And
Mhm.
so a system is actually not what you would consider your Acuity, your Active Campaign, Infusionsoft, Dubsado, Calendly, whatever you're using. That is not a system. A system is a process. A system is the sequential order of how you're getting something done. You're completing a task or you're getting a goal accomplished. That is a system, that
Mhm.
process. A software is completely different. It is the tools that you are using to actually implement and make the system that you've already created efficient. And
Mhm.
so that is something that people also always get mixed up. They're like, hey, I need a system for, and I'm like, you mean you need a software for? But let's rewind. Do you already have a system in place for what you're going to use this for?
Yep.
But what happens is people flip it and they go directly into software and they
Mhm.
say, hey, I got this tool. How can I use it? No, no, no. I have a process. Now that
Right.
I have this process in place, what tools will fit into this system and this process that I've already put in place?
Yes, I appreciate you clarifying that because they do use that interchangeably and they're completely different. Absolutely
Yeah.
different. For most speakers, most of them are solopreneurs. I've actually
Mhm.
met some really incredible speakers who are doing amazing work and it's just them. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That's a lot, right? Because you got to think about it. We have to sell, we have to
Yeah.
speak, we have to do the research. And what I want to help encourage speakers to do is that you have to determine what your measure of success is. And success for me is when I can take off with my family for several weeks and know that my business is still running. Success for me is knowing that someone else can come in and
Mhm.
be able to support me in my business because we've actually taken the time to actually write out the systems and actually write out exactly what needs to be done in order for things to continue. And I'm still looking for more ways to create freedom in my own business where I can still serve with excellence. And for each of us, it depends on what that level of success and what that vision that you have. But I would love to know, like, from you, what would you say, or from your experience of when you work with clients, where are like the biggest gaps? Where would you feel like they should start? Because I feel like even with the speakers that I have been speaking for several years, they haven't really taken the time to understand this concept of truly being a CEO. I feel like a lot of them are locked down by their business where they can't really get that breathing room. And I know none of us started a business or a brand to be slaves. I hate to use that, but like to be locked down and chained to their business 24/7.
Mhm. I will say, for me, over I say Q4 of last year, I started to throw everything. I just went back to the drawing board, and I was like, okay, what does success look like to Latrice? What does that look like? What is the most important thing to me? Because there comes a point where it's like, okay, cool, set revenue goals, cool, it's fun, great. All right, next. What's
Mhm.
next? Okay. And the thing that a lot of people, especially in the online space, don't show is their quality of life. They're
Yeah.
not showing that. They show you the Bentleys, they're showing you the little whatever the little car is with the stars in the top and the ceiling. They're
Oh,
showing they got all the things and they're showing and doing, they're taking trips and they're doing this and they're doing that.
yes.
And it's like, okay, cool. But all of the glitz and the glam, and that's what we're shown, and that's what attracts a lot of people. But I want to know, what is your quality of life like? Like, what did it take you to get there? How much, how much are we seeing? How late you're staying up at night? Are we seeing the lack of sleep that you're getting? Are we seeing the fact that you haven't had annual primary care visit for 3 years? Are we seeing the fact that your kids have things at school? Those things like that are important to me. Are we seeing the fact that your kids have programs at school that you aren't attending, that you're missing your child's extracurricular activities and their sporting events? And are we seeing that? And so I started to think about, you know what? Scratch all of it. Yes, it's important for me to hit a specific revenue goal, but above that and beyond that, what was more important to me was my quality of life. And so I started to literally like go back to square one. And I'm like, all right, I mean, everything from my service offerings to like, okay, let's go back. Do you love this? Does this fit in line with the vision that you have for yourself, for your future, and for your family? Is this scalable? Is this sustainable at scale? And I had to ask myself those hard questions and get rid of some of the services that I was offering because they didn't fit with the life that I desired. It doesn't matter how much money I was making from them. If they were going to take too much time and it was going to make me exhausted or give me a feel of uneasiness about how I show up in this space and how I show up in the business that I created for myself. If I wanted to be uncomfortable, I would go work for somebody else.
Right.
If I'm not going to be uncomfortable working for me. I'm just
That's
not.
true.
I can't. I would have just stayed at my 9 to 5 and been fine where I can pick work up when I want to and put it down when I leave. But here I am in this. And so I'm going to make this what I want it to be. So I had to literally start over with my systems and make my systems something completely different than they were. I had to build new funnels that position my offers differently, that sold these new offers. I had to pick different tools that would actually help me in where I wanted to be in my business. I had to redo processes. We literally went and I mind map a lot. I always start with either a brain dump or a mind map, or sometimes both. And so I did mind maps with my ops team, and we went through them, and me, my operations manager and my executive assistant, we went through and started mapping out every new system for how we're going to run the business. And it felt good because as I was doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, I see the opportunity. I see how my quality of life will be increased because of the new systems that I'm putting in place that will help to not only save me time, to not only save me money, but to give me a peace of mind and to also cause me to have the impact that I want to have on my clients. It's very important for me to help my clients to achieve more and not have to do so much. Not have to do so much. I want them to have sales funnels that are converting in the back end. I want them to leverage technology to do the things that they don't really want to do. And as a speaker, most of my clients are speakers. As a speaker, one thing that speakers have to keep in mind is, how are you onboarding new clients? If you have clients coming to you, how are you reaching out to people? What's your process? What does that look like for how you're reaching out to people? When somebody reaches out to you, are you looking for something? That's a problem. We need to figure that out. That's an easy, simple, quick system that we need to put in place. When someone reaches out to you, where is there a process for them? Is there a system for them to reach out to you as a speaker? Or is it just random emails willy-nilly and somebody came through a web form, somebody hit you in a DM, somebody tweeted you, this person went through? There needs to be a consistent process for how people are reaching out to you so that you have efficiency in place. Because listen, you can automate most of that. You can even automate the responses to what they say. When they inquire, you can automate the responses. You can automate the deliverables being sent to them. There's so many things you can automate in this process, but you have to have a system and a process that's established so that they know exactly what the boundary is. How are they actually contacting you? And one thing that's really, really important for me is, if you're speaking, you may not, for me, when I speak, I know that it's important for me to lead with leads. They may not come to me after the event and say, hey, I'm interested in, they may not do all that. They might not do that, but they might just be like, oh, wow, just to themselves. But one thing that's important for me always is to have some type of call to action when I'm speaking so that I can capture those leads. I need a call to action always. And you need to be able to have a verbal call to action, not go to blah, 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 blah.com. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about doing something more streamlined and making it more efficient for you to get leads in an extremely simple way. One of those simple ways is, hey, I have a free X, Y, and Z for you, or a free course, a free mini course for you. All you have to do is text the word course to 55347. Boom. While you're speaking, you've got it on the screen, you're talking, they text you, you've got technology in the background that's automatically sending them something in the background. It's automatically sending them that. When I speak on Instagram, I have automations on Instagram set up. So as I'm on Instagram Live or Facebook Live, I can say, DM me the word blah, 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 or comment the word blah, blah, blah. And boom, an automation is DMing them, and it's sending them down this funnel and this hole of, here's the freebie. Let's build trust. And now here's the offer. Are you interested?
Yes.
So as a speaker, you have to be able to capture your leads. Make sure you have a simplistic way for the user, a simplistic way for you to be able to capture your leads.
Yes, we want to make it as easy as possible for people to inquire for our speaking services or for the audience to continue to stay in that sphere of influence.
Yes.
And I love that you shared that because it's a game changer. As you were speaking, it made me think about, like, I often talk about honoring our God-given purpose, right?
Mhm.
We can't honor that completely depleted. And I know that we don't have our calling and doing our work and the ways in which we are impacting our clients to be completely exhausted. Like, that was not a part of that. That's our own doing. That's our own decisions that we're making.
Losing yourself.
Yes. And so I think what's really powerful about what you said is that, yes, it's going to take some time to actually put together these systems. But when you do, it takes your client acquisition to a whole nother level. It also allows you to be more productive, as you said, more efficient. And the icing on the cake is you will see the more productivity. You will see more quality of life, like you mentioned. But in addition to that, the income that you desire to make, because
Mhm.
you'll have more time to focus in on nurturing the clients that you want to serve, whether that be through training programs, whether that be through consulting, whatever it is that you have on the back end to help serve that client. And I think when we miss that point, a lot of us are so heart driven. We're so like, I want to make an impact. I want to tell my story. Yes. Right. And we often forget there needs to be some structure to that in
Mhm.
order to make that continuously happen in a way that we desire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want you to share with them how to best contact you, especially if they're ready to take it to the next level. And I just want to reiterate again that I have reached out to Latrice and I thought I was techie. I thought that I was like, okay, I'm doing okay, right? And then, and then just a short period of time in working with her, she blew my mind of what the possibilities were. I was not using my software or tools to the full capacity that it was able to reach. And a lot of times we need someone to come in that's coming in at the eagle eye vision, right? Or that eagle eye view and look in on what we're doing in our business so that we can work more efficiently. So what is the best way for people to find out more about the services that you provide and get in touch with the work that you do?
So first and foremost, connect with me on Instagram. My Instagram is my first and last name at Latrice Clairborne. And then I also have a free masterclass. It's an automation masterclass. I realize that a lot of people, tech and automation is just the word systems in general, overly used. People don't even know what it means. And there are so many people talking about it and not enough people actually working, doing it, and actually implementing them in their business. And so I kind of dispel some of those myths, help you understand what systems are, and also help you to realize what's possible using technology. A lot of times people don't know what's possible. And so I share with you a framework for how I handle systems and automation and how we implement those and put those in place. And so it's a free masterclass. It's called automateforprofit.com. And you can go there, absolutely free masterclass. It is about 40-ish, I believe, 40 minutes long. 40 minutes long, a free masterclass. It's amazing. And it has actionable tasks and steps that you can apply to your business right now to help you shift some things and change some things and help you to realize and see what's possible. And it'll get you excited about ways that you can operate your business more efficiently. It'll help you to see that what you can do, and it's not really that difficult.
Yes, it isn't that difficult. And you don't have to be a tech wizard to be able to apply what Latrice is teaching. So thank you for showing
Thank
up on the show,
you.
sharing your knowledge. And I hope that this conversation really gets everyone extremely excited to get the back end of their business set up with some systems. All right, y'all, that's it. We finished our episode for this amazing conversation about systems. And I know that for a lot of us, creating systems is a challenging piece of our business. But guess what? It is totally possible. And we can get to a place where we are making impact from the stage, but in addition to that, also making impact and improving our own quality of life. I hope that during this discussion, you were encouraged to create those systems. And of course, if you're ready to up-level your speaking to the professional status and get to a place where you're creating transformative presentations and the reoccurring income to support you, reach out to us. We would love to support you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.